Hi there, how's it going? My name is Aris and today I'm going to improve my RAP application using Freestyle by creating a custom action with JavaScript to help me download an Excel file from both the main page of my application as well as the subobject page. First, do you remember that I had the service binding virtual, right? For Freestyle, it's better to create a V4 version. But pay attention here, because if you try to publish it directly, it will show you an error message. This happens because you need to publish it in a specific transaction, like you can see here, and I'll let the transaction code in the description of this video. You will notice that in this environment, there isn't any Z service yet. So I'm going to publish the first one by clicking in Publish a Group Service, and I will put local in the alias and the name of my service binding v4. I can press Enter, select, and publish service group. It will ask for a description and also a request. In this environment, it asked for a customizing request, but it can vary in some cases. So I'm just trying to choose the best one. And after that, you can find your service binding. You can find it here and also test its connection by clicking on Service Test and Execute. If it shows 200, it's okay, so let's try. Execute and perfect, it's working properly. Now you can go back to Eclipse and activate your V4 service. It will appear published automatically. And now we have to do another deployment because I had already done the deployment of the V2 version. And we need to override that version with the V4 version. So I'll give you a tip on how to override your application. You have to open your manifest.json file and take your app ID name. After that, you can find your SAP Wi-Fi repository by expanding your BSP library, or also finding it in the SECF transaction, if you remember the name, or expanding a lot of hierarchies. Well, now that I have both of them, I'll do another deployment using this information to override the original one. So choose command palette, I choose list report, and then connect to a system. And you can choose your pre-configured system and also your service binding v4. So you can click next, select your main entity and your navigation if you have one, and select the type of your application. I'll leave like responsive. Pay close attention now. Here in module name is where you put your app ID name. So let's put it. And application name is the name that will appear in your application, like you can see it, and I'll use the same name. And I'll copy it for the description too. Now choose a package of your preference, and here you can also already choose to do the deployment configuration. I like to do it now during the Fiori Generator, so let's do it. It's a PAP and your system. And pay attention to your SAP Wi-Fi repository. You already found it, do you remember? So let's put the same on to override the application properly. Let's choose from existing the package and also the request. It's just start typing and it will appear here. And the request will be here automatically too. I close the folder of the old application and now we will configure the custom action in the new one. Right-click, open application info, choose page map and click on the pencil. Expand toolbar, which represents this part of the application, and click on Add Custom Action. Choose the ID name and the button Test and the placement. In my case, it is after. I would prefer let anchor with nothing, but I had problems because of this part, which I will show you how to fix later. Put the name of the handler file, and the handler file is the file that will appear on the left to write the code, and put the name of the method, alright? I like to mark require selection. You will notice that it's mandatory to put an anchor, and I had to put it. Even though I had problems because of this part, but that's okay, and I will show how to fix it. So after adding the button, it will automatically generate the est and controller folder with the file to write the JavaScript code, as you can see here. And it also generated these new lines in the manifest JSON file. So now I wrote the JavaScript code to download the Excel file. We have the return function that is triggered by clicking the button, and it calls two other functions, load script and getter Excel. The load script is used to load the library that is needed to generate the Excel, and the other one is used to process our records to build them and download the Excel. You can see that load script uses the path that contains our library, and in case of failure it shows us a message, but I didn't put the library here yet because I'll do it with you. And if no line is selected and the button is active, it will show an error message, but it is not really necessary because we selected require selection. To erase to start the records, and here you can see that I put the path of my composition. You can find it in this consumption entity in Eclipse, and I'm getting and pushing this data into my arrays and passing it to my function to generate the Excel with two sheets, one for the main page and one for the composition. So you can see that I am receiving these two data and separating it in sheets and naming them, and the name of my file will be gamification. Perfect, so now let's find the library that we need. We will search for the file using the URL. I'll leave the link in the description of this video. So right click, save as, choose your folder, open the web app folder and create a new folder called libs, L-E-B-S, and save it inside. So just to show you the hierarchy, it has to be like this: main folder, web app, libs, and your file. So I'm opening it here now, just to show you, alright? And now let's test it. Right click on web app, open in integrated terminal, run the commands below: npm install, npm run build, and npm run start to preview our application. Alright, and here on Spoiler, it didn't load, and it took me some time to discover why. It happened because of that part in the manifest.json file, specifically the anchor part that I mentioned earlier in the video. I don't know if you remember, but I removed everything of this part, but I think I could have removed just the anchor part. Anyway, it solved my problem and I was able to run the preview again. So here in the preview, I can try again, and it's loaded perfect. And I can download the Excel by choosing on row and clicking in the bottom. And I can see that it shows both sheets, the main and the composition part. Perfect, so it's working properly here in the preview. So now let's try with more records. Let me see. I will try with these 3 ons. Let's open, and it's perfect. It's working. Perfect, so let's do the deployment for sure. Let's run in the terminal in npm run deploy, and we're going to override our application. So I'll open and reload the launchpad and check the application that was overridden. Alright, so I have to select at least one row to download it. And let's see. It's working properly with both sheets, the main one and the second one. Cool, right? But why did I do this if the RAP application already generates a button to export to Excel? Because it exports it separately, not together with the main page and the subobject page with the composition records. So for example, I will select on and export with the standard button. It downloaded everything but didn't include the subobject page. Well guys, I finished. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it could be useful for you. And see ya!